Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel, Loc'D Booktician. Thank you for being here. And today we're going to do the non-fiction book tag. I'm going to tag the creator below in the description. Also, there are updated links for you if you're trying to support my channel or become a part of my Patreon. Also, I had to fix the links because apparently they've been broke for some time now and I didn't know, and a friend told me, like, girl, the links ain't linking. So I went ahead and fixed them. Let me know if there's anything wrong with the links below. Let's get into the tag. As I've said in previous tags that I'll be looking to the left or looking somewhere to read what is happening or reading the question. So if you see me looking to the left, that is where I'm looking at. And I have a stack of books in front of me so that I can pull them up and speak to them or speak more about them. So let's first start with the first question, which is, how much nonfiction do you read? So currently I'm at about 10 to 20% of my books that I read every year. And I'm really sad because each year that goes by, I read less and less nonfiction, which is not to say that there's anything wrong with people who choose not to read nonfiction or people who do read nonfiction. I just know for me, I would like it to be about 40% and it's not there. So I have to work a little bit harder on including nonfiction into my book picks. But I do read at least one nonfiction every month. But I should read like 2 to 3. But I also need to figure out like a balance of context, because even though I love reading about my history as a descendant of enslaved folks, enslaved Black people, sometimes it can be really triggering and hard to read. So I need to like figure that out. What has been helping is that one of my best friends, she is reading a lot of nonfiction and she'll tell me about it and then I'll go and read it. So that has been really helping me uptake my nonfiction that I'm reading every year. The second question is, what kind of nonfiction videos do you make or do you want to make on Booktube? So I would love to make content that has to do with memoirs. I have read some memoirs and have talked about them. I'll put some links either up here or in the description box below on those links that I've read talking about memoirs. I also would love to do like some minimalistic lifestyle, like reading books about people who are living this minimalistic life, because even though this is the only bookshelf I have in my apartment, but I also have one I'm looking at right now that just have my manga and graphic novels. These two things, it's a lot. Like, that's all novels. This is graphic novels and manga, and it is a lot for me. I'm like, how do we purge? How do we get rid of? So I would love to do content around that. I also would like to talk about how Black people and brown people and indigenous people are living authentically and what joy means to them. So I would love to do some content around that as well. The third question is, what's your favorite subgenre of nonfiction? And to me, it is memoirs and it's mental health written by BIPOC individuals. I'm going to give you an example. This book right here is one of my favorite books. It's written by a Black woman. It's a step-by-step resource for setting, communicating, and enforcing healthy boundaries at home, at work, and in life. And after reading this, I realized that I do not have very firm boundaries, and that I also need to realize that some boundaries are firm with some people and some are lax with other people, and like just trying to figure out how to maintain the boundaries. It's not about, you can set a boundary all day, like, hey, I am not going to allow phone calls after 9 p.m. But even though you set that a boundary, it is up to you to maintain them, because other people don't have to maintain or be a part of your boundary setting. And to also remind myself that boundaries are for me and not for the other people. You know what I mean? I just feel so exhausted all the time, and it's because I am just not maintaining the boundaries that I need for myself. Another book I got recently, which is this one, which is Self-Love Workbook for Women. Release self-doubt, build self-compassion, and embrace who you are. And one reason why I love both of these is that these are social workers who wrote these books, and I'm just really excited to read this one. I haven't gotten into it. Shout out to the person who sent this one to me. But I love when you're giving me color, you're asking me questions, you're having me going deep inside of myself of trying to figure out why I'm not setting these boundaries, why aren't they not being adhered to, and who needs them the most? Me. The fourth question is, do you have a favorite nonfiction book? I have a couple favorite nonfiction books, and let me show you what they are. This is, here they go, okay? So, I have All About Love by Bell Hooks, phenomenal. Braiding Sweetgrass by Dr. Robin Wall Kimmerer. This one's good. I also have Twisted, which is the tangled history of Black hair culture. This is really good. I also have Dear Black Girl by Tamara Winfrey Harris. There were stories in here that actually made me cry. Gold, Finding Me by Viola Davis. This one I think should be a required read for every American. Just like I feel like All About Love should be a requirement reading for not just every American, every person. Y'all need to get into it, okay? Another book that I don't have with me, a physical copy, I have an audio book, which is Ain't I Woman by Bell Hooks as well. 10s across the board. Another one of my faves is Amanda Seales' Small Doses, which is Potent Truths for Everyday Use. This one as well, which is How to Be Ace. It's a memoir growing up asexual by Rebecca Burgess. And then this one as well, The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. I think there's two different or a couple editions of this book. I have other books. Don't get me wrong, I have other books. But these are just a couple of my favorites that I can find on hand. Question number 6 is, why do you like nonfiction? I like nonfiction for me because you're always learning something new. You're always learning something new. I like to think that I'm a lifelong learner, and I just feel like there's so many things about the US and the country that I live in that I need to be made aware of. Currently I'm reading a book called Billionaire Wilderness, and I'm going to talk about that in another video. I'll be wearing the same shirt. I just want y'all to know, just transparency. Your girl trying to be transparent. But that book, somebody need to get in trouble. A couple people, because that book took me through it, okay? But yeah, I just love learning, and that could be my Gemini. But I do love learning. Number 7 is, what's a nonfiction book you read because of Booktube? And that is Spare. Many of you probably already read it. If you are familiar to my channel, you probably already read the book and already seen my my review of it. It is the only video on my channel that I had to cut off comments because it was getting ridiculous. People were getting more and more and more and more out of pocket, so I couldn't do it, so I had to leave, you know what I'm saying? Number 8 is, what's the best nonfiction book you've read lately? It will be this one, which is Finding Me by Viola Davis, because I felt very seen and how she talked about different traumas that she experienced. Also, I felt very seen of how she had no other choice but to be resilient and to move on. And move on, I mean, and not like the way of like just get over it, but just like get through things that was very difficult for her throughout her life and currently in her life. And then the second book will be Billionaire Wilderness, because it was wow. It was a wild ride. Hold on to your mule, as Tabitha Brown says when I talk about that book. Number 9 is, what are your nonfiction goals? And again, like I said in question 1, I would like to get about 40% of the books that I read. I would like for that to be what I read every year. So I try to get to 200 books a year. I would like 40% of that 200 to be nonfiction books. And that's about 80 nonfiction books and 120 fiction books. So I'm going to try to aim for at least like 50 next year. Just, you know, slowly make my way up to it. You know what I'm saying? Number 10 is, what's your advice for incorporating more nonfiction into your reading diet? And for me, like I said, that I read at least one nonfiction a month. I think it's important for you to just read as many nonfictions as you can if you want to, but definitely adding them, you know, throughout the month. Like this month, we're in August while I'm filming this, and I have already read 3 nonfiction this month. So, you know, you take that as you will. I also will say be careful of like the amount of nonfiction that you're reading. Like to me right now, I'm looking for more shorter novels. I do have a novel that I've been reading very slowly called G-Man. Ashley from Bookish Realm has been reading it too. I also convinced one of my best friends, Winnie Bishop, to read it with me too, so hopefully she can read it with me as well. And then the bonus question is give some recommendations of nonfiction booktube channels that I love. Well, Ashley reads everything, so Ashley from the Bookish Realm, you would love the nonfiction, her view on nonfiction. Also Josh from the Bookish Voyage, I think, his take on some nonfiction books is pretty good. Also, Jess Owen has a nonfiction book club. It's on hiatus right now, but you can definitely go back and read. I'm on some of those live shows of we're talking about different nonfiction that we're reading. Also, Evie Only has some good nonfiction that they have read as well. I would definitely go and check that out. If I think of anybody else, I'll put them in the chat, but that's all I wrote down. So I want to say thank you so much for riding with me and being a part on this ride as I talk about the nonfiction book tag. And have a good day. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And again, if you're trying to check out my Patreon, hit that link below. Your girl have goals. And my goal is similar to Beautifully Bookish Bethany, which is Bethany, when she was like, I want to hit 100 Patreons. That's a goal for me too. I'm currently at the low 60s, but you know, if you want to come and support your girl over there, I appreciate it. I have tiers: $2, $6, $12. So, or whatever you want. I think I also have like, you can do whatever price that fits for you too. So anyway, see y'all in the next video. Bye.